King D, back with another one. How was that for an entrance? Yeah. So, highs and lows. Right, my kings and queens, I've got one for you here. And I need you to really focus on this one as well and understand how the mind works. And not to panic when you do have a dip after you've had such a high, right? Because I'm going to explain it. Right, you know the dopamine, right? I've mentioned dopamine before. Chemical in our system, it's like an anticipation and sort of feel good sort of chemical in our body, and it's what motivates us to do shit, right? So if I think, dopamine's great, but it's provided it's used right. So how's it used right? By working hard. Delayed gratification, thinking, oh, I feel this drive to do this, like me with the YouTube, right? I feel a drive to do this because it's going to help other people. It ain't going to be easy because I'd rather be sat on that sofa right now, eating shit and just chilling out. But instead, I got off my fat arse and I'm making a video because it might make somebody's day. It might change somebody's life. I mean, maybe not this video specifically, but it might just a tiny little bit where I've made a difference today in somebody's life. Then I can go, nice one, King D, jobs are good, and now you can sit down on the sofa and scratch your balls, which is what in fact, sometimes I just scratch them while I'm stood here. You might see me every now and then in a route, so there you go. So yeah, getting back to the old dopamine. It's what drives you to do things, but it's also, unhealthy things. So say there's a cake right there, and your dopamine goes, ooh, is that for me? And then somebody says, yeah, it is. Now you're getting that, oh, that feels good, doesn't it? That feels very good, because you think, that cake's for me. I get to eat that. And all of a sudden this dopamine, that drive, that, ooh, that feel good. Because it's the anticipation of eating that cake. You know that cake's going to be beautiful. You can see it there with all the icing and all the toppings and trimmings and all this shite. And then you eat it. More dopamine. Yeah, beautiful, eh? Very good. But then later on you're going to eat a banana and you think, it's a bit shit compared to the cake. You know what I mean? And say if you had that cake and then you thought, fuck that banana, I'm just going to keep eating more cake because that cake was beautiful. Well, after a while, that cake gets a bit shitter and a bit shitter and a bit shitter because you're used to it, and your dopamine's like, oh, that's, again, fucking hell. And you can burn out your dopamine receptors as well, which is another thing entirely. But we're going to try and stick to the highs and the lows. We'll cover more on dopamine in another video. So I want to give you a very good example of highs and lows. You come down, right? Holiday blues. Heard of that? Yeah? You've had all this beautiful time away. Loads of fun, relaxation, overindulging, eating what you like, sunning it up on the beach, whatever it is your holiday was. And then you go back home and it's the same old what it was before, and it's boring as shit. And you feel like dog shit because you're not on holiday anymore. Holiday blues. You had this high of such a good week away, which I will say actually, I'm going away next week. So if you don't see me for a week, don't panic. I'm just away with the kids, and I can't be doing this while I got my kids really, because they're nosy little buggers, and I swear too much on this fucking thing as well. I don't want them hearing me swear, so sorry guys. I'll be back in a week. I'll be straight on. As soon as I come back, straight on it, Doc. Straight on it. So yeah, holiday blues, prime example, right? Same as, I've had times where I've had like the night of my life, and I thought that night was amazing. Next day, I felt like dog shit. And I'm like, I just feel, sometimes it was a hangover. But all the times it weren't. I just like, fucking hell, I was just so high, and I'm just come down, I'm just like, you get a bit miserable with it. And I'll give you a really good example. Tyson Fury, the boxer, right? So I don't know if all of you are aware of Tyson Fury's career. He beat Klitschko and become the heavyweight champion of the world. That's a high and a half. Am I right? So he'd been working so hard through his career to reach that point, to get that belt, and then he gets it. And then what does he do? Well, for those that don't know, basically his life just went... Because, this is not just Tyson Fury. There's so many, especially in sports, there's quite a lot in sports, but not just sports specifically, where they work their fucking arse off to achieve the ultimate goal, yeah? And when they reach that goal, they're stuck then and thinking, what's next? What the fuck do I do now? And they know they'll never reach that point again, that moment they're just like, boom, that was amazing. They'll never reach that again. And same with like these footballers, their careers are over by, before they're even 40. Well, they've got the rest of their life. What the fuck are they going to do now? Half of them don't know. And they're like, well, I was at the height I was because I was famous. I was performing in front of thousands of fans, week in, week out. People loved me, stopped me in the streets for me to sign things. I was competing against the best people in the world. So it was a big show, I'm on the telly, everything's great, do you know what I mean? My wife's red hot because she fancies me because I make loads of money. The money's great. And then your career's over. You've been living on this fucking high for so long of all these great things. You're like, oh my God, life's fucking mint. And I'm working hard. Everything's great, yeah. And then you've got to come down, right? And this is what Tyson Fury did. He just went away. That's it. Ballooned. He piled on shitloads of weight. Constantly eating, drinking, taking drugs. And you see loads of footballers that are like enormous now. They're dead fat because they're chasing that high. They're trying to fill that void of that whatever it was they were doing has left. And it's important to understand that as well, that you're going to be chasing that high. So it makes you worse when you do chase that high. Because when you chase that high, it's same as drugs. Like people take some drugs and they think, that was good, I want to do that again. And I think, oh, that was good. It weren't quite as good as the first time, and then it just slowly loses that effect where you end up taking more and more and more to chase that first high. Yeah, but now you're going down a slippery slope because you're still getting fucking high, but then the rest of the world is feeling a bit shit now. It don't compare to when you're on that drug. And then the issue there is now you're attached to it, and it's got a grip on you, and it's going to bugger up your life if you're not careful. So just understand, guys, I just want to make this very clear that whenever you get a really high point in your life where you think, fucking hell, life's amazing, everything's all good, it's going to come down at some point. It has to. Your body needs to reset itself. Just understand that it's going to feel a bit uncomfortable, but ride it out, yeah? Don't be too consumed by how high it was and think, fucking hell, yeah, this is, just try and monitor it and understand that you're going to come down. That's okay. We're supposed to. Yeah? It's alright. You don't need to... You might feel a bit shit. It's okay. Yeah? You don't need to just like scramble to find something else to replace it and then, adopting all these unhealthy things to try and get that dopamine that you were getting before. Okay? Bearing it in mind, whatever it is that you're going through. Say you've been in a relationship and you were dicking her down every week, right? And it was, or every night maybe, and the sex was amazing, right? And you've gone from that to she don't want to be with you anymore, and now you're like, fuck am I going to do now? So then you're thinking probably, I'll just run one out to porn, that'd be alright. No. Porn's the fucking devil. It's the same as drugs. And you'll be chasing that fucking high, and it's just going to lose its effect over the course of the time. Meanwhile, it's just taking over your life now, and it's making reality, the rest of your actual life, the real world, feel a bit shitter and shitter and shitter. And then you're going to get depressed, and then you're like, why am I depressed? I wonder, pal. I wonder. Nothing to do with all the drugs and the porn and all, you know, the unhealthy food and the cakes and shit and no exercise or anything like that. It's that, guys, okay? So, I'm on the verge of rambling, so I'm going to cut it short now so I don't... I did pretty well this time, didn't I, guys? Not too bad. I'm learning. I did mention on a previous video about somebody whipping me every time I ramble, but it doesn't look like I need it this time. Although I am aware, the irony is that now I am rambling, so I'm going to shut the fuck up. So, like the video, drop us a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, do tell your friends, and as always, be the best you, and do it for you. Cheers.